This is a 20-inch mirror on a cell, a mirror stand, I should say. And I have my alignment light turned on, and I have a little piece of white paper around my central hole. So it's easy to see when the alignment is right on the nose. So right there, it's pretty close. When you come back, I got to give this guy a little bit of a bump so that it's off. So you can see now it's really easy to see when there's a misalignment. So that's the alignment laser on the Hartmann test stand. Okay, so the mask is on. It's not real pretty here, but I got 8 radials of 7 holes, and of course there's a hole in the center. So that's 57 holes. Lonnie Robinson made this one for me. I have a stilt there and a stilt there. And at some point, you make a perfect center mark on the mirror. And then you put this on there, and then you adjust those until that center mark is just perfectly centered on that center hole. And that way, you know that your mask is not too far one way or the other, which ruins a Hartmann test. Okay, so that's what it looks like when it's going to be tested. Pull the mask off. And so there's the mirror. There's a 20-inch f3.7. So on my system, I have 3 bolts on the back with nylon acorn nuts on it. And so a lot of guys might have an 18-point suspension on the back or some exotic thing in the back, but 99% of the weight when the mirror is in a mirror stand like this is on the edge, and only about 1% is on the back. So I just have 3 points, and they're at the 40% zone, and that is most likely sufficient. I then have 4 contacts on the bottom. I usually have a steel wheel here. Let me see if I got one over here. Yep, right here. It's like a roller skate wheel on the edge of the mirror like that. But I made a change on this one because it was such a thick mirror and I wanted a gap here that it just didn't work with my support. So I got these roller skate wheels, and they're rubber. I don't agree that that's the best, but they're doing a good job. Okay, so from the bottom, you go over 22.5 degrees, and then 45 degrees, and over 22.5 degrees, and up 45 degrees. So these guys are 45 degrees, 45 degrees, 45 degrees, with the center of that coming up to the center of that as your 90-degree support. So that's the angles that I use. I also adjust these guys so that the tilt is just right. And I marked the serum on there, but I marked the center of gravity on here, which you need to calculate. And the contact on all 4 of those wheels are at the center of gravity of the side of the mirror. Okay, now I have about 1.5 inch gap behind the mirror. And I'm going to assemble something. I'm going to leave the camera running here while I assemble it real quick. That is my cooling shroud. So, big piece of sonotube for my cooling shroud. And I'm going to just let this run for a minute again while I put the front on it. Messy garage. And it's not pretty, but who cares? Let me hook this up so it doesn't fall. Okay, so when I do this, it's actually a little bit better than this, but here's what I got. I got a fan on the front. The front's covered. I got the shroud there. I got a fan in the back. And so I then plug it in. I'll go ahead and plug it in just so you can see how slow this thing runs. I got this thing dialed down to, I think, 4.5 volts. But here we go. That fan really is running. Oh. I might have wrecked it. Well, good job. Now it ticks. That's my on indicator now. It's ticking. Okay, so I got a fan on the front that's drawing air into the cavity, the cowling, slowly around the front of the mirror, around the sides of the mirror, and then behind the mirror, and then out the hole in the back. So the idea of this is it's a very slow airflow. And that slow airflow does two things. One is it brings the mirror temperature down to the room temperature. You want the room and the mirror to be the same. The other thing it does is it drags the air slowly over the whole surface, on the sides and on the back, so every part of the mirror is the same temperature. You don't have a warm part of the mirror and a cold part of the mirror. They're all the same. And you don't want that fan on real fast to blow onto the mirror because you'll blow a cold spot on the mirror. So it's a slow drag. It's cowlinged up so that it flows over the surface of the front, the surface of the sides, the surface of the back, and out the back door. And I usually let it drag air for an hour and a half, making the mirror the same ambient temperature as the room and within itself before I Hartmann test. Now, Lonnie and I have done some experiments, and we can actually see alterations in the Hartmann test until it completely becomes an ambient body. And so the 2 points I made here are, one is the mirror needs to be supported in a way to where it won't flex or bend, and that's why I use the roller skate wheels on the side and the points on the back. And then you want the mirror to be all ambient within itself and within the room. And so you let the air flow across the front, the sides, and the back very slowly for enough time. Doesn't matter if the room's hot or cold. Never mind. As long as it's all the same and has been the same for some time and it's done changing. Once that's done, I take all this stuff off and I Hartmann test the mirror. All right, thank you.